So I, I haven't been on Twitch. I haven't been on Twitch for like 40 something days. So yeah, that's a lot. I guess I just looked at my little profile. I was like, oh, I wonder how long I haven't been on Twitch for. So I was like out of town for like 2 weeks, like hiking and stuff, in the desert, and then let me move over here. That's a little better. And then I was like, I got a bunch of stuff. Like stuff happened. Like I was doing holiday things. Sometimes like life is a little more important than the computer. I think sometimes. So I just failed to stream, and then at the same time I got a new desk. It's a standing desk. I got a huge monitor. It's like 34 inches or something, 32 inches. I forget. It's massive. Like it's bigger than like when I was a kid I used to have a TV. It's way bigger than that. So that happened. So now I have an external monitor over here, and then I have my main monitor right here, the big one. And the desk is way longer and it's way deeper. It's like an inch or two deeper. So there's like way more stuff on here. It's a much nicer streaming flow, I think. So that's good. Yeah. So today, now that I've been gone for so long, I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do anymore. Oh, you know what? I've still been working on the same stuff, just in the background. So, I should say, yeah. So, in addition to giving up on Lisp, I'm starting to give up on making my own web framework. Although I still am working on it, but it's kind of like it's like a labor of love, It works, and I've been working on it for like about 2 weeks, like on and off. So like outside of stream, I haven't been streaming, but I've been like working on this instead of streaming. And also I don't even have enough ports to like make the stream smooth because I can't plug in the Ethernet cord. So like this is just on Wi-Fi. So hopefully this is okay. But yeah, and I hope the sound is good. Like I feel like I'm really loud in the speakers because I'm like really close to the mic, and the music is not that loud. So maybe I'll turn myself down just a little bit so I'm like out of the yellow. Maybe it's okay if I'm in the yellow, but yeah, I think maybe that's a little better. Okay, so I'm gonna stop looking. That's my like little Twitch thing, little dashboard thing over there. So it's cool that I can actually see two things at once, because before I couldn't do that. Okay, also I got really into Tmux. I don't know if I was using Tmux before. I think I was. I also have NeoVim 0.6, so that's good. And it really is like a massive improvement. And I also like upped my like Ruby game a little bit. So yeah, all that to say, Ruby on Rails came out today. Oh, thank you. No copyright sounds. Thanks for the no copyright music. Yep. So I could put it on the stream and leave it and record it after. It's good. I think I have to mention that every time. I'm not sure if I do, but all right. So oh geez, I don't know what this is. I take back what I said. All right. So Ruby on Rails 7 came out today, and I wanted to talk about it briefly because I have to like warm up to the stream again because yeah, it's just I haven't streamed for so long that I have to like really work up to it. So I'll probably stream for like 20 minutes today. I think it's been 4 minutes, so I have 16 minutes to go. So this new Ruby on Rails website, here, let me make this bigger. I forgot what the command is. I think it's this. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I was also thinking about I'm like kind of floating. I should probably put myself on the bottom right. There we go. Just nestled in there like that. Am I nestled? Yeah, there we go. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Now it looks like I'm one with the screen. All right. Yeah, so this came out today. I mean, other than DHH's face on there on the video, the website looks good. I mean, it looks really modern and like pretty sleek. Before, like, I mean, the old Ruby on Rails website. You know, I had that little like the little cartoon, and it was like everyone loves Rails. But yeah, this is good stuff. Like they list all the companies. Like, look at all these companies. Like this is a huge thing. Like I haven't been to like Node.js in forever, but I'm sure there's a ton of companies using Node too. But that even Node like by itself is like, yeah, that this is the web. This is it. That's it, huh? Okay, well, or like if you go, what's like a bigger one? What's like a big JavaScript Express.js? Like, I mean, I'm sure there's tons of companies built on Express too, but I don't know if they have. Okay, well, that's that then, I guess. What's like a good? Oh, Kraken. Kraken's like a good one, right? Is that? Yeah, I mean this. It's definitely. Yeah, it's not really. I thought the JS ecosystem was like really mature and stuff. Let's. Okay, Nest.js. Oh, you know what? No, Redwood. Redwood JS would be the one, right? That's super trendy right now. Let me get rid of this stupid thing. Oh, also I can, now that I have two screens, I don't have to switch between the two windows. I can actually show the mouse and everything that's happening. It's amazing. It's like so much better to have an external monitor when you're streaming. Oh man, Null Inside is already banning things because I had left that on there. That's crazy. I can't believe it. That's crazy. All right, just the bots, like it's insane. Okay, so let's see, a progressive framework extensible. Okay, so this is okay. Oh, there we go. Principal sponsors. So Nest.js seems. I mean, someone was talking about it on Hacker News. I'd never heard of this before ever. But let's look at it. Nest new project. Okay, so it's very similar. It's got controllers, right? A controller. Oh, okay, so this. Yeah. All right. Cool. That looks pretty bad. Okay. So yeah, this one too. But this is like newer, so I don't think it has the companies on here. Yeah, it's kind of like technical. But yeah, this Ruby on Rails. I mean, my goodness. Like, if you look at this, you're like, why would I choose like all these companies? Coinbase is on here. Like some of the biggest Y Combinator companies, like Twitch, Airbnb. I don't think Square was, but yeah, you got GitHub. Shopify, they're not Y Combinator companies, but I don't know what Cookpad is, but maybe I will now. Let's go to Cookpad. Let's see what that is. Actually, I can probably just click it from here, right? Oh yeah, okay. Oh, so it's like a recipe search engine built on Rails. That's pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, like these are like some of the the biggest names. Like I would just choose. These are just a few, yeah. Like if I was deciding, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's perfect. Because the old website, I feel like it had that stuff, but it wasn't like super like in boxes, right? Now it's in boxes and the logos are there, so it really stands out. Yeah, this is really cool. And then they have the code, right? You gotta have the code, and it shows like how it looks. And there's, if you'll notice, there's like not a ton of parens, right? So like immediately I'm like, I miss the parens, but at the same time, I understand why people think it looks clean, right? A lot of white space, a lot of colons and things, brackets, square, curly braces, but yeah, not a ton of parens. And like the code, I think what I was thinking about Lisp the other day, and I was thinking like, what is wrong? What is like the real problem? Like, it's not the parens, right? Like, I think the real problem with Lisp and why people don't like the way it looks is because it tends to go, first of all, like it's like in like these dense clusters, right? Like there's two things, like the X and the Y direction, right? It's like the code itself is like squished usually, right? Like, because you don't put like spaces in between. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I could just go to even one of my one of my projects, right? Let's go to my GitHub. Let's see what's up with this. Let's see, what do I have here? Oh, this is perfect. Janet Docs, perfect example. Okay, so if I go to the routes here, right? Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like Okay, so here, the code inside of this block, right? This, you know what? I'll do GitHub to do that. Hello. Oh wow, I just ruined that. Oh, there we go. So the code. Oh my gosh, it's not gonna let me do that. Okay, so the code in this block is like really dense. Like, and the other problem is that not only is it dense, which I try to put 2 spaces in between, right? Each function, because it's just so dense. Like everything is dense, right? But the real problem with the code like this, and this is my code, so I could talk about this. Usually you're not separating this like lines between where there should be lines. And there's not enough like, there's 3 things. Okay, so the first thing is the density, and like the lines don't usually get separated. Like I'm trying to do it here. Like I have a new line here, but usually that doesn't happen in Lisp code, right? Oh, it's been 11 minutes. Okay, I got 9 minutes. Usually it's like not that way. Usually it's like everything is just like this, right? And the second problem is even if you can get past that and like try to put spaces like I'm doing here, but it still doesn't work. Is the other problem is that everything goes to the right, like quickly, right? So like you'll see here, I'm assigning a variable, links, right? It's an output of a query, which is, I mean, it's actually pretty nice. Like I really like the inline queries. But yeah, you'll notice that it like goes to the right quickly. Like, so there's a bunch of space here, a bunch of like just wasted space, like from this line 46, like right here. It's all, what is that? Like, I don't understand that. I know I did that and I don't have to necessarily, but even here, right? By the end of this, there's like a bunch of dangling things, which is just like customary Lisp stuff. And then it just it's going to the right, just visually. You don't have to look at you don't have to understand what it's doing. You just see it and you're like, what is happening, right? It's like hard to get it because it's like going to the right. Everything just tends to just go to the right of the screen. And I didn't actually notice this before. This one's actually not bad. But I also did a lot of work to try to make it so that it didn't look that way. But I don't know if that's really like idiomatic, like if that's like normal stuff that I'm doing here. But yeah, it always just goes to the right. Like, but if you take a look at like, okay, so here's a good example. This is like some CRUD stuff, right? So here is create, right? I'm like checking if the thing is blank and like inserting it, right? This one's not horrible, but if you compare similar code in Ruby, which I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but it could be. Here, let me get my thing up here. Let me actually open up what was I doing? Rails 7, right? Is that what I said I was doing in the stream? Oh, I didn't name it. What do I have here? It must be, oh, I don't have a TMUX session. Oh, I do. I named it org3. I really have to release this thing. All right. So if you look at this controller, which I generated, I didn't actually write this. So here we go. Let's look at this controller. So notice that in this scenario, right? Everything, hopefully you can see that and it's not like too tiny, because the screen is massive. Okay, there we go. Okay, so notice that everything is like always, it goes back to the left, right? Because of the assigning, right? So like here is an assignment on on this line here, line 10. Is that line 10? So like here's an assignment, and then an if else, and then another assignment is here, and you like split it out into these methods here. I mean, you can do this in Lisp, but I don't think like assigning things a lot is like the customary thing to do. Usually you just do let bindings everywhere, and let bindings, you know, I don't even know why I'm cutting off the top of my screen. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just change that, because I was like, oh, I don't want to show my taskbar, but I think it's like, who cares, right? I'm gonna change that. This is my like test stream. I'll probably have a real stream later, but all right. So I think now you should be able to see everything on the thing. Maybe I'm like moving it around. Jeez. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Pretty sure. Anyway. Yeah, I can be even outside of the screen, right? I can be below it. I should probably be lined up with it though. Oh. Okay, there we go. All right. Now that I'm just doing weird stuff live, instead of like, I actually recorded too. And then, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so like this code, and it doesn't do a lot. That's the thing too. It's like, I was trying to pack everything in with joy, and what is this? All right, sometimes the music is something. I'll just turn that first song on. I thought that was really good. So I was trying to pack everything in joy, and I was trying to in Janet. I was just trying to like put everything together, right? And then because it's kind of like a reaction to what is here, right? So like this file actually is like, it has three different, actually has 8 different files, right? So this is the controller, but in order to do this, or like this thing here, I'd have to go to the model, right? Okay, so that's part of it. And then the other part is, oh, you know what? I don't want to do that. The other part is the views, right? So like there's new, and then that calls another view, right? It calls a partial called form. So let me open that up. So here we'll go over here and we'll say form. Okay, perfect. And then not only that, but after you submit this thing in create here, after you submit this thing in create, it goes to the show page. So let me open that up real quick. So that's show, and then that renders the partial too, right? So let me open that up, and then I mean, this is just like this is what got generated in Rails with Rails 7. But yeah, like I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I have 6 things. I have 6 files open right now just to show me what happens in this, from this little thing, this create, right? So like the form submits to create. So that's in the bottom right. There it is, right? And then it gets submitted, and then not only that, but I have the new. So like I'm not even showing the new action in home, right? But yeah, I understand like why it's separated, but I just thought I'd try to put it all together, and I think it does work, and I think it works well, but at the same time, like switching between like writing the framework and trying to make an application on top of it, because I probably should have just started without a framework and just wrote all the framework code in line with each app. That's probably my downfall, and I'm still doing that now, but with Ruby I can move a lot faster because like I write Ruby all the time. Everything's Ruby. So I like Janet, I was pretty proficient, but I definitely am more proficient with Ruby. There's no doubt. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. I am working on something, because Rails 7 is good, but it's got some like weird, like how can I say this? No, it's great. Rails 7's great. It's amazing. But it's got some like weird things that I thought I could do, right? Like I thought that if I had a controller and I make a method, right, I can just call that method from the view, but I can't do that. I have to either do this helper method, right? Or I have to, which is what Rails does to begin with, is I have to, and then I have to say like I have to do this before action. I have to say before action set org chart, and then only then I have to like specify which ones. So this would be like anything with an ID. So show, you know what? And I would do that, right? I edit, show, update, destroy, and then I think that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'd have to do that, and then I'd have to say this was set org chart, right? And then I can get rid of this. But yeah, it's like, but why though, right? Just for the instance variable and just for the partials, but like you can always pass in things to the partials, right? Like you could always just over here, you could always just say right here, you could just give it a hash, right? And then you don't need the instance variable. You could just do that, and then your partial thing is different from the instance variable because you're gonna do that anyway, right? When you're gonna reuse it somewhere else. So yeah, that was weird. The helper method thing is kind of weird. I thought for sure it was the eRuby was the binding. My real problem is that I know too much about how this all works now, and I'm like, shoot, I really want this to work a little different, but yeah. So I am working on something called Radical, and it's like rapid application development. I know it's like really cringy now that I think about it because like I don't know how it wasn't taken. Like at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it called Rad because it's rad, and that's what you used to call stuff like Rails and Django and all that stuff. You used to call it just rapid application development, right? That was the name of it. But now they call it web frameworks or whatever. I don't know what they call it. CSS for whatever. Yeah, this light is like really bright, and I have to like adjust the green screen. But I'm looking at it now. It's whatever. Okay, so it's 21 minutes. Okay, so that's it for the stream, but I just wanted to jump on real quick and say I'm back. Yeah, all right. I'll probably stream what is it? It's Thursday, right? Okay, yeah, I'll probably stream on Tuesday. I've been meaning to like stream in the morning because I know there's like more viewers streaming or are watching in the morning, like a live. And not at night necessarily on a random Thursday or Tuesday. But yeah, so I've been meaning to try to do that, but I have to like wake up early. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go. But yeah, I am working on something called Radical, and it is, let me just show you what it looks like. Here's an quick example of kind of this. It's inspired by Rails. So you have a database and migrations and stuff. And you also have, I really like this Shift V. It's really cool. It just highlights the line. So yeah, you have models, right? But it's like more explicit in places than Rails is. So like, I don't assume the name of the table from the model necessarily. You have to pass that in, and like it gets from the generator. So like, you'll generate things just like in Rails, but it generates even more explicit code. So like here, this is an example, right? It's like a little thing, but I think it makes a difference. Like if you send in, you like specify the table name, right? So like you don't wind up with this like weird like, I have like a weird error thing. It's like everything is always table name, right? And it just gets generated with the generator, right? Hang on, let me do what? Jeez. All right. I'm just gonna play that one song just again because I thought it was really good. I was like, what the heck? I was looking for a song exactly like that. I'm also gonna cut this stream short because my trackpad is like low on battery, so it's like really like laggy for some reason. So that stinks. Okay, so the last thing I was gonna say, yeah. So like, there's other things too, like all of Rails' stuff is like good, but in Radical, which is like basically a Rails clone. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, right? I'm mostly doing it just so I understand more how Rails works and I can be a better Rails programmer. So the other thing that works differently is everything that you make in the controller is sent to the view. So like, you don't have to make helper methods, and I know that pollutes the controller namespace, but I don't care, right? I really don't care. So like instance variables, right? That gets sent, and you don't have to do anything special. So like now show, right, is like totally blank, and you don't have to. Let me make this bigger. You don't have to do anything, right? Because you can just call. You don't even need to say before action. First of all, there is no before action, and there is no after action. It's funny because like I go down these weird rabbit holes where, I thought I was gonna leave. Oh yeah, so I go down these weird rabbit holes where like. I started on Rhoda. I spent 24 minutes. Jeez. So I started with Rhoda, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't like before action and after action. So Sinatra's out, Rails is out, and I'm gonna go and use Rhoda because Rhoda has like the nested routes and stuff. And then I started getting into like Rhoda hash routes, and I really got into like the Rhoda internals, and I really had to read a lot of Rhoda source code. And I eventually got to a point where I couldn't track down the error because everything was class app. So in the end, the running application was like a million lines long, but then each hash route was like a different thing. So like the exceptions would like go to a line number that didn't exist, right? Because they were all split up, and I was like, well, that's out. So that's what got me off of Rails. I was like, all right, well, first of all, the hash routes, it was awkward, and it wasn't straightforward, like what was happening in the code. Even though Rails is like more indirect, as long as you understand the parts of it, and the parts don't change, and they haven't changed for like 10 years. So if you understand the part, like you kind of just go, oh yeah, I mean, that's just how it is, right? Like, you could do all this yourself in line in the code, but like, why, right? When the framework's gonna do it for you. So I'm finally back home with Rails, and there it is. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, so every method that you make, so here I just say to do .delete, right? So like, I just use the instance, or the method. I use the method instead of the instance variable. And then I don't have to use before action and after action, right? Or after filters or whatever. That's it. Okay, so now you're thinking like, oh, what about authentication, right? What about authentication? Like when I want to specify that, a user should not be able to see this method. And to that I say, good question. But I think something happens where I think you're always scoping the data in the page by the user. So in this case, you would say to do, right? You wouldn't just find any to do, right? You would do, and this you do in Rails too. You would say, whatever it is, current. You would go to your controller, right? Your little thingy, and you would say current user, whatever comes from the session, right? Session user, right? You would say user.find. You would say user, right? Like that, and then you would do the same. You would just say current user to dos, and then you would say find params ID. Hello. Also, I don't do the whole active support is out, right? Like I don't use active support here. I just rely on Ruby. So like there's this, it's funny because active support actually doesn't give you too much magic. It does give you a little bit, like the hanging off stuff like one day ago or whatever. That's pretty magical. But you could easily just say ago, and then you could say one day, and like it's pretty similar. Or you could say like days, and you could say one ago, right? So it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's probably fine to not have to like override all these methods. But yeah, so here is what you do. So now you say, okay, well, how do I know? Like if there's no user, right? It'll just give you a 404, right? Which, I mean, you could do whatever you want. Like this particular one will give you a 404, right? But here, let me do, geez. Okay. So yeah, and you can also don't even use that. You probably just want to say current user, right? You don't even want to use the instance variable. So yeah, like this is the kind of stuff where I really started thinking, and I was like, wait, why is there a before action there? And I was like, oh, it's authentication. But then I was like, no, because everything's scoped to the current user, so there's no authentication. So you don't need before action. Also, Rails has this params like require thing. There's like a lot of legacy stuff I think they don't want to get rid of, like, because that's from like Rails 4 was the whitelisting parameters, and I think DHH actually wasn't even a fan of that. He was like, you know what, let's not do that. But I think it happened anyway. So you have this in Rails. Here, let me switch back to the Rails one. You have this like in the controller, you have params like require org charts, right, or whatever, and then you have like this. But they recently, see, it looks like they changed the generator to use form with, right? And form width doesn't, I don't think the HTML has the little bits in there, but yeah. And then you wouldn't use slice, you would say, you'd say require, and you say like permit, right? Like, what is that? Like, why is that on the hash? Like, what? Ruby has a thing called params.slice. I don't know when it came along, but it has it now. So like, I'm not using Ruby like 1.8 or whatever anymore, right? I think originally Rails was they needed all the active support stuff because it just, I don't think it existed in Ruby, but now it does exist. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. It has resource routing. It only has resource routing, which I thought, Rails exists, so like I don't really care to not have resource routing. And like basically all you're doing now is you have 3 methods in routes. Oh my gosh. So you're just messing with a prefix, right? So you can say root home, and then this will give you, it'll route to the home controller, right? And then it gets rid of all prefixes. So it would just say, you would have that, and then you'd have like ID, right? And you'd have like new, right? And stuff like that. So that just gets rid of prefixes. This one actually leaves the prefix on. So it's to-dos, to-dos ID, to-dos new. It's also to-dos ID edit. And then that's that, right? So, and then resource is another one that gives you this singular. So it would be like item, and then item ID. But you can also say resource with like a plural, like the Rails like plural singular thing is like not super like straightforward. I mean, you kind of get it when you get going, but like at the same time, it's like, why? Why is this happening? Like, just let me name the thing what I wanted to name it, right? So sometimes like the conventions of Rails are conventional now, but they aren't like they're not like they're like weird. Like they don't actually help you in any way, I don't think. But yeah, so yeah, that's that. And then yeah, so there's like an app, and then you do that, and then I also have like a thing for I like combined Rhoda. I combined all the things I like about Rhoda, which is like inline configuration in the class app, and I combined that with like Rails, so it's like the unholy combination of Rails and Rhoda together. So yeah, let me I'll show you how to like add. And I also don't have any. So Rails 7 has let me see. This is a minimal one, but we can go over to the documentation. Let me see. Blah 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 blah. Read the guides. Okay, perfect. Let me see. They have the import maps for the assets now. It's somewhere in here. Maybe not. Oh, there's a Webpacker. That's not good. Let me see. Webpacker. Yeah, are they gonna talk about import? Import. Oh, they're not gonna talk about it at all. Oh, it was in the blog. Okay, let's go over to the blog. Oh my goodness, my mouse is horrible. There we go. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's up with that. Okay, so Rails 7 fulfilling a vision. Okay. Oh, and apparently there was like a security update or something. Oh, it wasn't a security release. Oh, okay. There's a bug. Okay, so yeah, import maps, which did they talk about that? Not really. It's in the video, but here it is. So yeah, there's like a front end thing where they do like import mapping. And it's better than like Webpacker and Node.js and stuff, because I hate Node. I hate Node.js. It's the worst. Like left pad, like once left pad happened, I was like, oh my gosh, these I don't know what's going on with this community. Like what is happening? Like this is ridiculous. Okay, let me actually go back. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like for all that stuff, but for Radical, I don't really care how you organize your assets. I mean, I'll help you if you want, but like they're just static files, and just bundle them, So I don't even have minification or anything. I literally just take the files that you give me here, and I put them on top of one another, and then I just serve them. Well, I also do compression, so I can do gzip compression and broadly compression. So I compress them, and then there it is, right? And then what happens when you want to configure? You want to configure your app, right? All you do is you just say if it's production, compile, right? That's that. That's how you deal with assets. That's pretty much it. And it's funny because like that's how sprockets used to be, or was it? I forget if this was Rails 3. Rails 3 was sprockets, and I remember it was like a huge thing. Actually, Rails 3 was the merge with Merb too. I don't know. This is how long I've been doing Rails. There's a framework called Merb that was like they merged together because Merb had some great ideas too, and Rails was people like Merb better than Rails. So they decided to come together. So anyway, that's not gonna happen here, clearly. But yeah, I just think configuring with code is better than configuring with like weird hooks into the app in like a config folder. Just the word config is like, it's not real. And it just, whenever I see it, it bothers me. Except for obviously rack has config.ru. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, so yeah, this is like a pretty straightforward. It also has migrations. I mean, they're really like naive and not good. But I just did the barest bones thing to see how it all works together. And I think I'm gonna flesh it out a little bit. But yeah, so it has the layout and everything. It uses eRuby, which is the same ERB implementation that Rails uses, but Rails has like some weird stuff that it does, like does some extra stuff for forms and capturing blocks and things like that, and like escaping things. This is just vanilla eRuby, which the same guy who wrote Rhoda, he wrote eRuby. So yeah, this there's like a double equals to auto escape, so everything's escape by default. Wow, that's really loud in my headphones. Yeah, so anyway, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I keep saying that, but yeah, so there, yeah, it's pretty much the same. There's like partials, but I think one more thing that's a little different is, I mean, you could look at this and you can think it's Rails, right? Because I made it exactly like Rails. But one thing that's different is there's no form with or form for. It's just form. And the form is it. Like, there's never going to be another form. There's not going to be a form for. There's not going to be a form with. It's just going to be form with was the thing that they should have done originally. And it came out, I think in like Rails 5, form with came out. And no one really uses it, but now it's like in the generators, right? It might have been in the generators in Rails 6, I have no idea, but maybe it was Rails 6, I can't remember. But yeah, you basically say it's always a hash. And model is just one more thing that you could give it. So like you can give it method, action, just like a regular HTML form. And model's just one more thing. And model does like special things, but it's always possible to override like the methods and the actions and stuff too. So that's what they should have done back then. But yeah, I also, render is like a really overused thing, and they like have one method that like is overloaded with a bunch of stuff. So like, I haven't looked at the render method in Rails, but I'm sure it's like insane. I'm sure there's like a dispatch, like a case statement or something, and I'm sure it gets pretty crazy. So I didn't do that. I have two things just like Rhoda, right? So like again, Rhoda has some great ideas that I think Rails could implement, but I don't think they're going to. So there's two methods, partial and view. So view renders a view with a layout, and partial renders a view without a layout. So you don't have to say layout false. You don't have to say render partial colon. You don't have to give it a name. You just say partial, and then you give it the name of the partial. And that's that. And then the second argument is the hash for locals. You don't have to say locals either. So this, I mean, I'm using it, and it's like a tighter, like integrated version of Rails, and I do like it better actually than Rails, but it's not super hard to take when it's a brand new thing, a brand new rack application. Like, it's not hard to like, if anyone was going to like simplify Rails. It's not super difficult to do, I don't think. So yeah, I really do like it. I hope that like someone out there who wants to use Ruby likes it. I mean, I don't want to say anything, but okay, so a default Rails 7 app on my computer and running in Docker, it takes 90 megs of RAM, right? So almost 100. Actually, it takes 100 megs of RAM. The Docker container does. The same different Docker container running a Radical application, a brand new Radical application, takes 30 megs of RAM. So that's 3 times less RAM. And I think they're both running. I have them both running JE malloc. So there's that too. I don't want to say anything, but it's just there's a lot less going on, and yeah, it does less for you now. But I think even when I add jobs and I add mailers and stuff, I think it will. Which I'm not even sure if I will, because I think the core framework by itself, just the routing and stuff, is nice. And there's gems that like are great, like the mail gem. Oh, this is a cool song. Let's see, mail gem. Yeah, this is a really Ruby mail library. Geez, can I get over there? Oh my gosh, this thing is really bad. So yeah, look at that. It has 3,400 stars. Yeah, you can't. This is, I mean, it's straightforward. Mail.to, it's perfect. It's exactly what I would do if I was making a mail thing. Like, this is exactly what. Look at that. It's like blocks. Amazing. Like, incredible. And then there's also, there's a few job things that I really like. There's a Sidekick. So I want to talk crap on Active Job for 2 seconds. I said I was going to leave 20 minutes ago, but I'm still here. So Sidekick is much better than Active Job. Like, it's faster, it's better. 11K stars. Like, nobody cares like about Active Job. I mean, like, they do. And I think it's the default, so people are going to use it, and they're just going to couple Sidekick with it. But yeah, I just I'm not sure if oh, you know what? I'm pretty loud still. Let me turn this down a little bit. Oh no, I'm okay. I wasn't even looking. I was getting pretty loud. Let me there we go. Now I can be loud. Okay. So yeah, there's just so much stuff. What the heck? I don't know what just happened. So there's just so much. Oh jeez. Gem. Yeah, so like there's just a lot of things that are by themselves are without Active Job better, because there's no like weird serialization issues. You know, they've been around longer, right? So they're gonna be better at what they do. And I think I don't think there's anything wrong with like going out to gems. But yeah, I will definitely include core gems in the thing when you generate a thing, and then you can just get rid of them, right? Because they're gems, right? So it's like, if I want to get rid of sprockets in Rails, I can't just delete a gem. It's like I have to go in and like rip out all this like weird Rails specific code, right? And configs and things. And I know what to do, but it's like, yeah, it's just a lot. Anyway, so that's it for the stream. That was like a weird rant. I always, whenever I'm like away and I come back, I always like rant. So that was my rant. Yeah, so if you happen to want to try out Radical, you can give it a try. I recommend the master version because the gem version's like really far behind now. But I will push another update to the gem once I get the generator going, and it's almost done. So, but yeah, I think there is a point too where like you might actually be able to stop making the framework. Like you might not even have to keep going. You might just be like, you know what, this is done, which only really happens in the Clojure community, but I think it can honestly happen anywhere. Like, and the code is not like getting bad, right? Because it's all pretty self-contained. So yeah, but there is a lot of stuff I need to do still, like models and migrations are really like, I really skimmed on those. So that is something that I need to do. I was thinking about using SQL, but I was like, no, I like Active Record way better, so I'm just gonna clone Active Record. And yeah, it's a learning process for sure. I'm definitely learning a ton about Rails as I'm like re-implementing it basically from scratch. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to use it, that's fine too. If you find it nice and productive, that's fine too. But yeah, that's it. I will be back on Tuesday, probably, maybe. I have no idea. All right, let me go over this thing. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got. Bye.